There is a quiet moment in every life when the mirror looks back at us more honestly than ever before. It's not the mirror on your wall, but the mirror of results, of relationships, of the subtle looks people give when we speak. In that reflective silence you may sense what few allow themselves to face. Respect is not given the way we imagine, it is grown from seeds we plant in the invisible garden of the mind and harvested in the visible world. Most think respect is a social currency we trade with appearance, status, and force. But beneath the surface, in the deeper current of life, respect is the echo of an inner frequency. What you continually think about yourself and others moves like a field around you, arranging outcomes, drawing responses, setting the tone of every room you enter. The science is simple and profound. Ideas impressed upon the subconscious express themselves as conditions, experiences, and reactions. And the spirituality is simpler still. As you believe in your heart, so it is done unto you. Today we will talk about the attitudes that make people lose respect for you, not as a list of behaviors to police, but as a revelation of laws you can understand and harness. If respect has waned in your work, your home, your friendships, the cause is not in them, the cause is in the mental seeds you've allowed to grow, perhaps by habit, perhaps by fear, perhaps by forgetting the divine order. Joseph Murphy called the subconscious the obedient builder, the silent servant that never tires. When it receives pictures of insecurity, it faithfully constructs situations that match insecurity. When it receives pictures of integrity and quiet power, it builds life around those forms. What looks like an attitude on the surface is a deeper suggestion given to your inner mind. If your words apologize for existing, your subconscious hears, "I am small," and life obliges. If your tone demands respect without embodying respect within, your subconscious hears, "I lack what I seek," and it mirrors lack. In this opening, I invite you to make a brave shift. Instead of chasing respect by pushing or pleasing, begin to grow it by law. Imagine a tuning fork struck in a grand hall. Everything that can vibrate at that frequency answers. People sense congruence before they process words. They feel when your inner picture, your voice, and your action are aligned. They also feel when you're performing a role that your inner mind does not believe. Alignment is respect's first language. Misalignment is how respect leaks. And here is the revelation few consider: attitudes that drain respect are not random flaws of character, they are predictable effects of the images you rehearse, the emotions you endorse, and the sentences you repeat in your inner speech. Change the image and the emotion, and you change the attitude and you change the reaction of the world. Let us begin by acknowledging something sacred. There is a presence of wisdom in you, a divine pattern desiring expression. When you attune to it, poise replaces pretense, clarity replaces confusion, and your very silence has gravity. People respect what is steady because steadiness implies source. You do not need to be loud, you need to be rooted. You do not need to be perfect, you need to be principled. The psychological studies tell us that nonverbal signals speak first, and yet those signals are authored by your state. The metaphysical tradition tells us that thought is cause and circumstance is effect, and yet most try to fix the effect. Consider the most common respect-draining attitudes: chronic self-justification, hidden contempt, fragile pride, double-mindedness, the habit of promising without delivering, and the subtle plea for validation disguised as confidence. Every one of these grows from a mental picture the subconscious has accepted. If you have been rehearsing the movie of "I am not enough," you will compensate on stage. If you have been painting the canvas of "others are threats," you will leak suspicion and scarcity in every glance. People will respect not what you preach but what your field announces. This is why scientific prayer, as taught in the New Thought tradition, is so powerful. It is not petition but alignment. It is the art of impressing upon the subconscious a new premise, one that conforms to divine law. When you establish the premise that you are an instrument of order, of truth, of generosity, attitudes that leak respect melt, because they no longer have a root to drink from. The subconscious takes the suggestion of dignity and expresses it as tone, posture, word choice, timing. The room responds, not because you demanded it, but because you radiated an atmosphere that gives others permission to trust you. So I ask you a simple question to start our journey: have you noticed how your thoughts shape your reality? When you repeatedly say, "No one listens to me," do people interrupt more? When you silently declare, "I am calm and clear," does the universe send you opportunities to prove it? There is no moral judgment here, there is only law. The seed reproduces after its kind. Plant the seed of lack and reap appeals for respect that never land. Plant the seed of inner wealth and reap quiet acknowledgement that does not need to shout. If you believe there's something greater guiding your life, subscribe now and like this video to continue your transformation journey. Not because likes and subscriptions feed an algorithm, but because each small act is a ceremonial agreement. You are choosing a path where your mind becomes your ally, where your attitudes become instruments of grace, and where respect is not a negotiation but a natural consequence of who you are becoming. Let us illuminate the first invisible posture that drains respect, the habit of leaking your center through compulsive explanation. Have you met someone who apologizes for breathing? Sorry to bother you, I don't know if this is right, maybe I'm wrong, I'm not good at this. This is not humility, it is self-sabotage disguised as politeness. Humility is clear, strong, generous, it does not degrade itself. The subconscious, instructed by years of smallness, continues the script. The remedy is not louder words but a new inner authority. Each morning, before speaking to the world, speak to your inner builder, "I am a calm, clear presence. My words are purposeful and kind. I deliver value. I respect my voice and, therefore, others respect it." Repeat this not as magic, but as mental nutrition. The nervous system learns safety from repetition, the subconscious receives blueprints from feeling charged statements. In time, the impulse to apologize fades because there is nothing to apologize for, your very being has accepted its right to inhabit space. Another posture is the brittle armor of superiority. It seems like confidence, but it is the loud voice of an unhealed fear whispering, "If I do not stand above, I will be ignored." People may obey this energy, but they do not respect it. Superiority is a confession of inner comparison addiction. It signals that your worth depends on position, and the human heart recoils from being used as a prop in someone else's play. The spiritual correction is to remember source. You are not the source, you are the instrument. When the violin claims it is the composer, the music deteriorates into noise. When you quietly serve the melody, people feel safe in your presence and they naturally look up to you. Respect cannot be demanded by height, it is invited by harmony. You might ask, how do I know which attitudes I carry? Life will tell you. Notice where doors hesitate to open, where conversations wither, where your name is remembered without warmth. There, in those specific scenes, ask your subconscious what suggestion you have been feeding it. Perhaps it is the belief that you must earn belonging by pleasing, perhaps it is the belief that intimacy is dangerous, perhaps it is the belief that you must defeat to be seen. Once you see the belief, you can dissolve it with the gentle fire of truth. The law of mind does not punish, it mirrors. It is not moralistic, it is mathematical. Plant apple seeds, get apples. Plant cedar seeds, grow cedars. Plant respect within, receive its reflection without. Pause with me and consider this engagement question, because your reflection awakens the power to change. Which thought do you repeat most during the day, and what is it creating in your life? Place this in the comments, not for me, but for you. When you name a seed, you take ownership of your garden. When you take ownership of your garden, you reclaim the harvest. Imagine a lighthouse on a stormy coast. Ships do not respect the lighthouse because it yells, they respect it because it shines, consistently, without hysteria, without lecturing the ocean on how to behave. Your character is your lighthouse. And your subconscious is the keeper that decides if the lens is polished or fogged, whether the lamp is steady or flickering. One of the quickest ways people lose respect is to trade the steady light of principle for the flicker of approval. Double-mindedness, saying one thing in the boardroom and another in the hallway, promising under pressure and retreating under convenience, confuses your own inner keeper. Confusion inside becomes confusion outside. People do not articulate it, but their nervous systems read the signal. Do not lean on this beam, it won't hold. Joseph Murphy taught that the subconscious believes what you emotionally accept as true. If you accept the belief that survival requires chameleon behavior, you will become a master of masks, and the soul cannot respect a mask, nor can others, not for long. Respect is drawn to coherence, the divine simplicity of being the same presence in all rooms. Let me offer a story. A young manager, Elena, led a team across cultures and time zones. She knew the technical side but struggled with authority. She over-explained decisions, apologized for deadlines, and tried to be everyone's friend. Her team liked her, but timelines slipped and meetings drifted. She came to me saying, "I need techniques to sound more authoritative." Techniques are useful, but authority is not a trick of tone, it is an inner settlement. We began with her premise. In quiet prayer each morning, she impressed this truth: I am a faithful steward of clarity and care. I honor my team by setting clear agreements. My word is precise and kind. The divine order supports honest boundaries. She then practiced micro-integrity. If she said the meeting began at 9, it began at 9. If she set a weekly deliverable, she reduced it to writing and reinforced it with calm follow-through. In a month, the room responded. The same voice, same face, now carried weight, and the only difference was the blueprint within. She had stopped begging to be liked and started respecting her own word. Respecting your own word is the founding sacrament of external respect. Another story. Aaron, a high performer, emitted the odorless gas of contempt. His sentences carried invisible knives. Let me explain this simply so everyone here gets it. When he spoke, people complied, but the air tightened. He wondered why peers blocked his proposals in private. He insisted, "I'm just honest." Honesty without reverence is not truth, it is vanity. We traced his inner movie back to a wound. As a child, he had been praised for being the smartest. Intelligence became his identity, superiority his shield. His subconscious concluded, a world without hierarchy is unsafe. In prayer, he began to seed a different premise: my worth is inherent. Wisdom flows through me and others, I honor it wherever it appears. He practiced catching contempt at the level of breath. When sarcasm rose, he paused, counted 4, then chose a question instead of a jab. What do you see that I'm missing? Within weeks, the blockade thawed. By removing contempt from his inner altar, he stopped sacrificing respect on the outer stage. The subconscious had accepted a kinder throne, and the kingdom responded. Respect also erodes under the acid of inconsistent gratitude. Gratitude is not flattery, it is alignment with abundance. When you endorse scarcity in your inner speech, no one helps me, I carry everyone, I am always overlooked, the subconscious proves you right, organizing scenes where you feel precisely that. Your tone grows resentful, and people step away. Replace the premise with a different hymn: I am supported by a web of grace. I see contributions and name them. I steward help well. Then practice the external sacrament, specific appreciation delivered promptly. You will feel the shift. The room begins to relax. Respect grows where people feel seen, and your own nervous system reassociates leadership with receiving, not with lonely martyrdom. A profound attitude that dissolves respect is the habit of breaking micro-promises to yourself. Others cannot respect what you repeatedly abandon, and the first other watching your life is your subconscious. If you say you will rise at 6 to read and then scroll until 7, the inner keeper records, our word is not law. If you decide to make 10 calls and make 2, the keeper records, commitments are decorative. This is not about severity, it is about spiritual physics. Every kept promise increases internal weight, every broken promise drains it. Start small to reverse the equation. Choose one daily act, a page of reading, a 5-minute meditation, a glass of water before coffee, and keep it for 7 days. As you do, speak to your inner life tenderly, we are trustworthy. We do what we say. Feel the emotion of that declaration. The subconscious does not understand numbers as much as it understands feeling. Each small victory becomes a new premise: my word is creative substance. Now we turn to the paradox of vulnerability. Some fear that openness loses respect, so they hide mistakes and resist feedback. Others overshare wounds like a badge and expect intimacy as payment. Both lose respect because both are actually centered on self. True vulnerability serves the work and the relationship. It sounds like this: I made an error in last week's estimate. Here is the correction, here is the learning, and here is the new safeguard. There is no drama. There is no performance. There is responsibility, which is respect in motion. The subconscious trained on responsibility instead of shame will not produce defensive attitudes, it produces openness without collapse. You can feel the difference: one is a confession-seeking absolution, the other is a commitment-seeking improvement. Another respect-draining attitude hides in the tone of urgency. People who sprint through sentences, interrupt, and correct mid-question often claim they are efficient. Underneath, the subconscious has accepted the belief that worth is tied to speed, that rest is dangerous, that silence equals insignificance. The resulting atmosphere is pressure, and pressure is expensive. What is the spiritual antidote? Rehearse the premise that time is a servant of your purpose. I move in divine timing. I respond thoughtfully. My pace is composed. Practice allowing pauses. Practice finishing a colleague's question only after they finish it. Practice a single sentence that ends with a period. The room will begin to exhale. Respect grows in spaces where people can think. Let me offer you a reflection that doubles as our second engagement moment. Have you noticed how your thoughts shape your reality? And even more specifically, which attitude, apologizing for existing, superiority masquerading as honesty, chameleon behavior, micro-promise erosion, or urgency addiction, shows up most often in your week? Comment "I believe in divine power" if you feel the energy to replace that seed with a better one awakening in you right now. The act of writing it is a small ceremony. It tells your inner life that you are ready to retire an old script. We cannot discuss respect without naming the noble power of boundaries. Weak boundaries bleed respect because they signal to your subconscious that your value is negotiable. Rigid boundaries also bleed respect because they signal fear of connection. Healthy boundaries are the geometry of love. They allow relationship to flourish without confusion. Spiritually, a boundary is a declaration of the order you will steward. I take meetings during these hours. I do not discuss confidential matters in public channels. I need 24 hours to consider changes to scope. The words matter less than the conviction underneath. If your subconscious still holds the belief that saying no is dangerous, you will say yes with resentment or say no with hostility. Replace the belief with saying no preserves my yes. My limits bless my work and my relationships. Then keep one boundary kindly. Respect returns because self-respect has returned. There is also the subtle leak of indirectness. Sarcasm, insinuation, and hints are just fear in costume. They ask others to decode you and then punish them for decoding incorrectly. Mature, respectful presence speaks plainly and tenderly. I felt dismissed in the meeting when my sentence was cut. I'd like to finish my thought now. The subconscious premise here is that your needs are legitimate and can be voiced without violence. People respect that clarity because it allows them to show up well. The aggressive and the vague are equally difficult to respect, the clear and the kind are easy to trust. Finally, consider the sacred symmetry between respect and service. When your motive shifts from self-display to contribution, your attitudes change tone. You enter rooms to give, not to perform. You ask, what is needed now, and how can I be an instrument? You see people, not audiences. The subconscious instructed daily that it is safe to serve, safe to listen, safe to be unseen while the work shines, will express attitudes that dignify others. And the world, mysteriously, reliably, returns the dignity to you. Now we move from diagnosis to design. It is time to reauthor the inner script using the tools that Joseph Murphy made practical: scientific prayer, visualization, and feeling-charged affirmations. Remember, the subconscious is principle. It does not argue, it executes the blueprint presented with emotion and repetition. We will craft a daily practice that transforms respect-draining attitudes at the root. Approach these steps like a musician approaches scales, simple, consistent, and with growing sensitivity to tone. Begin with quieting the surface mind. Sit for 3 minutes and attend to your breath. Inhale through the nose to a slow count of 4, hold 2, exhale to 6. With every exhale, imagine noise leaving. With every inhale, imagine a steady, golden light filling your chest. This is not superstition, it is preparation. The nervous system receives a message of safety, and the subconscious becomes more receptive. Now speak a short invocation: infinite intelligence within me, align my conscious and subconscious mind. Make me a faithful instrument of clarity, kindness, and strength. I release the need to prove. I allow the truth to move through me. Say it once and feel the words as if they already describe you. Next, choose a single attitude to rescript this week. Suppose you choose the habit of over-apologizing. Your old subconscious premise has been "I am an imposition." We will replace it with "My presence is a contribution." Write the affirmation in the present, simple and concrete: I am a calm, clear presence. My words contribute. People benefit when I speak. My tone is steady. My pauses are confident. Read it slowly 3 times, and with each reading, see a scene: you enter a meeting, you speak once, others lean in, the conversation gains clarity. Feel the relief in your body. Then make a micro-promise that incarnates the new premise: today, in every conversation, I will remove the word "sorry" where no harm was done and replace it with "thank you for your silence." After your first success, close your eyes and say to your inner life, "Yes, that is like me." This simple reinforcement is precious. The subconscious loves feeling more than logic. Feed it the feeling of alignment. If your chosen attitude is superiority, which often hides fear of irrelevance, your new premise might be: wisdom flows through me and through others, I honor it wherever it appears. Your affirmation: I ask a sincere question before I offer a conclusion. I celebrate insight in others. My confidence lifts the room. Visualize a specific scene: you notice a teammate's idea forming and you say, "Take the floor, I want to hear your angle." Feel the respect that returns, not the applause for you, but the trust in you. The subconscious records, being generous is safe and fruitful, and begins to produce that behavior without strain. If your pattern is double-mindedness, establish this premise: I am the same person in all rooms. My yes is yes, my no is no, spoken with grace. Affirmation: I align word, tone, and action. I keep small promises. I clarify expectations without apology. Now choose a micro-integrity: send one recap email after a meeting listing what was agreed and by whom. Do this for 7 days. Watch how your body relaxes because it no longer fears being seen as slippery. Respect follows because you removed friction from the field. For those with urgency addiction, pray this way: I move in divine timing. My pace is composed and effective. I honor pauses. Affirm: I breathe before I answer. I finish a question before I begin an answer. I schedule recovery like I schedule delivery. Visualize tomorrow's conversation where you wait, listen, and answer with one clean sentence. Feel the satisfaction of sufficiency, the sense that you said enough. The subconscious will begin to offer you pauses like gifts. Scientific prayer differs from wishful thinking in its certainty. You do not beg, you claim, on the basis of law. It goes like this: I now accept the idea that my inner dignity is real and active. I rejoice that infinite intelligence is impressing this truth upon my subconscious mind now. I feel it. I see it. I am grateful that my attitudes now radiate respect, integrity, and compassion, and I see this reflected in my conversations and outcomes. Thank you for the perfect adjustment now. Then let it be. Do not dig up the seed to see if it is growing. Water it with consistent practice and let the soil work. A powerful evening practice is revision. Before sleep, review one scene where respect felt distant. Without self-reproach, repaint it in your imagination the way it should have gone. See yourself breathing, speaking clearly, honoring others, honoring yourself. Feel the release, the correction. Whisper, "This is the truth of me." By offering the subconscious an upgraded version before sleep, you invite it to rehearse the better pattern through the night. You will wake with a slightly different impulse, and those tiny impulses, honored, become traits. Let's embed this change into daily life with a 7-day structure you can apply to any attitude. Day 1, awareness. Carry a small card and tally, gently, each time the old pattern appears. Day 2, replacement. Prepare your new sentence and use it once. Day 3, embodiment. Choose one behavior that proves the sentence true and execute it. Day 4, reinforcement. Tell someone you trust what you are practicing and ask them to reflect a win to you. Day 5, generosity. Help another person shine once that day. Day 6, celebration. At night, write 3 specific moments of alignment. Day 7, consecration. In a quiet prayer, thank the Infinite for this new route in you and ask for the next instruction. The steps are simple because the law is simple, the power is in your wholeheartedness. Now, bring this to your relationships. If you lead a team or a family, make respect the culture by making clarity and kindness the oxygen. Begin meetings with statements that honor both. We will speak plainly and graciously. We assume good intent and we commit to good impact. Then model the behavior by receiving correction without defense. When someone says, "That timeline is unrealistic," respond, "Thank you, let's adjust scope or sequence." Your subconscious learns that respect increases with truth. The room learns that your authority serves the work, not your ego. Respect follows like a shadow follows the body. Pause here for our mid-script call to action, because your commitment matters and your words carry creative power. Tell us in the comments which area of your life you want to transform. Your word is a powerful seed. Name it voice, leadership, boundaries, serenity, follow through. As you type it, imagine planting it in fertile soil. See 7 sunrises pass over it. Feel it sprouting as new choices this week. And here is our second engagement moment crafted for self-examination and momentum. Have you ever noticed the exact moment when a small promise kept changed how you walked into a room? Describe that moment below. Your story will coach someone you will never meet. Before we close this section, let us touch the deep root, identity. Attitudes grow from identity, and identity is the set of statements you rehearse about who you are. Many carry an identity of the struggler, the overlooked, the misunderstood genius, the sacrificial hero. These identities dramatize life but do not dignify it. Choose a true one. I am an instrument of order, generosity, and truth. I carry peace. I build trust. I am taught from within. Repeat this not as a slogan but as a covenant. Then do one small act each day that no one will see but you and God. Wipe a counter, fix a sentence, return a cart, send a note of thanks. The subconscious loves anonymity because it proves you are serious. Respect grows in hidden places before it blooms in public. There is a moment every gardener loves, dawn, when the ground is still and the first light reveals which sprigs pushed through the night. You stand in quiet awe at the fact that life, once seeded, insists on becoming itself. Your mind is that garden. You have sown new seeds, clarity instead of apology, generosity instead of contempt, coherence instead of chameleonship, trustworthiness instead of broken micro-promises, composure instead of frenzy. You have watered them with prayer, rehearsal, and small faithful acts. And now you will watch them insist on becoming themselves. There will be mornings when an old weed shows its head. Do not panic. Pluck it and replant the sentence you have chosen. The soil is already different because you are different. The subconscious is not a tyrant, it is a friend that needed clearer instructions and kinder leadership. Everything begins in thought. This is not poetry, it is the operating manual of your destiny. When Joseph Murphy wrote that the subconscious is the builder of your body and your circumstances, he did not mean a mystical puppet master. He meant that the images you feel as true guide your nervous system, your tone, your choices, and therefore your outcomes. To regain respect, return to first causes. Do not chase people, cultivate presence. Do not perform strength, practice steadiness. Do not announce your power, embody your promises. The inner becomes the outer as certainly as the seed becomes the tree. The law does not fail, only our fidelity to the law wavers. Now your fidelity is returning. Let's crystallize a daily rhythm you can carry from this video into your life. In the morning, align. Speak 3 truths out loud. I am rooted in the infinite. My word is creative substance. Today I will be clear, kind, and consistent. Take 1 minute to visualize a specific upcoming scene, the call at 2 o'clock, the family dinner, the performance review, and see yourself as the lighthouse. At midday, renew. Ask yourself, what is needed now, and how can I be an instrument? If the answer is listen, listen. If it is decide, decide. If it is rest, rest. At night, revise and rejoice. Replay one scene and repaint it if needed. Name 3 moments of respect, given or received, and give thanks. This is your liturgy. Do not underestimate it. Great lives are not built by occasional fireworks but by daily fires tended with love. Feel the emotional truth underneath all these practices. You are not manufacturing worth, you are revealing it. The infinite within you is perfectly respectable because it is perfectly aligned with order, love, and truth. When you let that presence live through you, attitudes that used to leak respect cannot live in the same house. The fear that made you hurry will subside because you trust the timing of wisdom. The pride that made you talk down will soften because you trust the dignity of others. The insecurity that made you apologize for existing will fade because you trust that you are here on purpose. If at any point you falter, return to a simple prayer that unknots the mind, quiet my ego, strengthen my heart, focus my hands. Guide my word. I do not need to perform, I need to be present. I do not need to be right, I need to be real. Let my attitudes be altars where others feel honored. When you say this with sincerity, watch how the day rearranges. A phone call lands softer. An email comes back warmer. A child leans into your lap. A colleague volunteers insight. These are not coincidences, they are correspondences. You may wonder about those who still withhold respect even after you change. Some will. Their journey is their own. The law does not promise universal applause, it promises inner peace and congruent harvests. Keep sowing. Respect worth having is never universal, it is authentic. And over time, your field will draw those who can see and celebrate who you truly are. As that circle forms, amplify it with your own respect for others. Speak well of absent people. Protect the ones who cannot repay you. Ask precise questions and wait for answers. Do unseen good. Your subconscious will record the world as a safe and honorable place, and it will help you create more of it. A final, practical exercise to seal this work: choose a person you quietly resent, perhaps because you feel they disrespect you. Do a 3-part forgiveness and blessing ritual for 7 days. First, forgive inwardly. I release you from my judgment and from my story about you. I free myself as I free you. Second, bless. I bless your growth, your peace, and your clarity. May you be guided. Third, set an honoring boundary if needed. I will not continue a specific behavior, and I choose specific boundary. This alchemy dissolves the inner knot that turns you reactive. Respect flows more easily from a mind that is not at war. Now take a deep breath and let one sentence land in the soil of your heart. I am becoming someone whose presence dignifies people. Sit with it until it warms your chest. This is who you are. This is who the world has been waiting for, more than a speaker, a signal, more than a performer, a presence, more than a demander of respect, a giver of it, and therefore a natural recipient. Here is our third engagement question to activate your will. What's the first positive thought you will plant in your subconscious today? Write it in the comments with reverence. As you do, pause for 3 seconds and feel it as already true. Your word is not a caption, it is a command to the garden. Like this video and subscribe to the channel to continue your journey of personal, mental, financial, and spiritual transformation. The power is within you, and each new video is a step to awaken it. When you subscribe, you are not joining a club, you are joining a practice. Each week we will return to the laws that never fail and the love that never ends. We will learn to think as creators, to speak as healers, to act as stewards. Respect will not be a goal, it will be a fragrance. Prosperity will not be a chase, it will be a flow. Healing will not be a secret, it will be a daily kindness to your mind and body. And faith will not be blind, it will be rational trust in the infinite intelligence that breathes you even now. As we close, place your hand over your heart. Whisper these words like a vow. I think with clarity. I feel with compassion. I act with consistency. I am a lighthouse. I honor the infinite in me and in you. May my attitudes be a sanctuary where respect is native, and may my life be a quiet sermon of what is possible when thought and spirit agree. Go in this peace. Walk in this poise. The world will feel it, and so will you.